Hey everybody, this is Mark Vogel. I wanted to welcome you to my Module 5 analysis of the tools that could be used for the blended classroom. So the first tool I am analyzing is Neo K-12. When first looking at this tool, the first thing I thought is it looked a little elementary-ish. I teach high school, and there are high school topics on this website. So the first thing I looked at was the algebra um, page because I teach Algebra 1 and 2. So I kind of wanted to see how the videos that they had listed here could kind of relate to my classrooms. And the first thing is I've actually seen some of these videos before. I believe some of them are from Khan Academy. I have used videos like with this gentleman right here in my class before. So the quality of the videos are very good. I would make a note that they are a little dry. They're not very engaging, but they're very clear and concise for the students to watch and learn from. And again, one of the benefits to including videos like this in an independent station for the blended classroom would be the students can watch it on their own. They can pause it. They can rewatch it when they need to. If they're absent, they can easily access these videos as well. So I think the use of them can really enhance the classroom. So here's an example of video I just want to quick point out that I kind of looked at, and I've showed this to my students before actually. It's the quadratic formulas, which is a topic, it's brand new to the students in ninth grade for Algebra 1B. So it can be tough for some of them. But this video is great. I fast forwarded through it so you don't have to watch it. But you can see all the work here. It's nice and clear. Again, the kids can pause this, rewatch it whenever they'd like to. And he does a nice job, going through the problem and really explaining it clear for the students to understand if they need extra guided learning. And then some of the other features this site offers, so they have quiz games here. For math, there weren't a lot of them. I looked at, I think, the factors and multiples. So they have some here already. To create one, you have to have an account, which I don't have. So here's a little bit of a quiz, I guess. All they offer is true, false, so it's probably not the best formative assessment. Going back to the interactive diagrams, I looked here. I thought this would be kind of cool for students. There's a lot of science, so I think this might be a better site for science classrooms. The one I looked at was, here's one for mitosis, so the students order the different phases. So I think that would be a good formative assessment for a science classroom. Here's an example. It's kind of tough to see because I don't have a subscription, but this is an interactive diagram where the students would have to label all of these things over here on the right, where they might have like the Atlantic Ocean, North America, Asia, Africa on this diagram of the Earth. So like in a blended situation, the students could watch some type of a video on this website and then fill in a diagram like this to kind of demonstrate their understanding of the content. When it comes to the criteria on page 9 of Guide to Choosing Digital Content and Curriculum, overall I thought this site was pretty good with these elements. The graphics were pretty clear. It's easy for students to navigate through the website. I don't know about the feedback from the assessments. I saw true, false. There's diagrams. There's different things for students to be assessed, which I think is good. I also thought the self-pace was quality, where the students could work at their own pace, watch the video, pause it, go back and rewatch that again. So I thought that was something to benefit the students as well. And finally, one of the 5 elements in the Edutopia article, Visualizing 21st Century Classroom Design, was mobility. And I think this Neo K-12 site really hits that, where students can work at their own pace. They can do this in the classroom, outside the classroom, and there's really a lot of options for them to learn from. And the second tool that I decided to analyze was Mathlicious. And this is a site that I've actually used a couple years ago, and I kind of forgot about it until this assignment. So I'm glad we did this. And I might even be able to incorporate this next week when I do a blended lesson in my classroom. But this is a great site where I also often have students ask me, like, where do they see this content in the real world, the algebra they're learning. And the best thing about this website is it shows where these skills and topics are being used in the real world. So the students kind of get a little more, reason for why they're learning it, and it might give them a little more motivation too. So here are a few examples of the lessons, of the topics that they have, just on their first page here. They have dominoes. They have one on the speed of video games and how it's changed over time. There's a basketball lesson. There's a track. There's one on McDonald's. And if I clicked on the dominoes one, it's pretty cool because the students, it tells them right here what they'll be able to learn here. And it says what they should be able to calculate, the skills they know ahead of time. When thinking about this topic, Mathlicious, in a blended lesson, I think it would actually be pretty good in a collaborative station where the students can work together. It's relating the content to the real world, so they're solving problems, they're kind of thinking creatively, and it also has the Common Core standards here. So I clicked on the student handout, and here is the worksheet that as a teacher could actually print out, so the students could have this to write down their answers in the station too. And I'll show you the questions are also in the lesson here. So if you go to the Teach section, here's a quick little, there's actually no volume or sound, but it just shows clicking through the website. If you have a pizza, you can pick a small, medium, large. This is the same process you do to actually order online. And then it goes to the toppings, so it actually it chooses 2 toppings, I guess pepperoni and green peppers, I think they select. So then they place the order, and then they show what the price would be at the very end here of $15.37. So when you go to the questions, the students can work through these together. I think as a group would be ideal. So it goes on asking about the different toppings and how each topping added on increases the price. So here they're talking about equations and how you can graph the different amount of pizzas and toppings you can get. So one of the questions here they ask, if the number of toppings doubles, would the price of the pizza double? Which obviously it wouldn't. It would just go up the cost per additional topping. And then I thought this graph was kind of neat. So it shows the green are going to be the small pizzas with toppings, the blue are the mediums, and then the red is the large. And then the last question, it just kind of shows the equation. So you can see that the cost for a large pizza is $13 and then $1.69 per topping. So the students have to understand that for a smaller pizza, you're going to be using less toppings because there's a less surface area. So it's $1 per topping for a small, $1.49 for a medium, and then $1.69 for an additional topping for a large pizza. Again, I think Mathlicious would be best used in a collaborative station where students could work together. I think the graphics were pretty clear. It was a pretty easy website for the students to navigate through. I think it's also very relevant. There's topics on shoes, tips, and stuff like that at restaurants. So I think it really relates to students' interests and needs. Self-paced, they can work at their own pace. The one I think this tool kind of lacks is the assessment and data collection. But again, I think it relates to the content of the real world, which will keep the students engaged and motivated.